What if I told you the richest person in history wasn't Elon Musk, wasn't Jeff Bezos, wasn't even a European king, but an African emperor from the 14th century whose wealth was so vast that when he traveled, he crashed entire economies? This is the unbelievable story of Mansa Musa, the ruler of the Mali Empire, and possibly the richest human being who ever lived. Mansa Musa was born in 1280 into the royal Qaeda dynasty of Mali in West Africa. At the time, the Mali Empire was already powerful. It controlled important trade routes across the Sahara Desert. Gold, salt, ivory, and slaves moved through this empire, and Mali controlled much of the world's gold supply. Mansa Musa became ruler in 1312, but not in the usual way. The previous king, Abu Bakr II, reportedly sailed into the Atlantic Ocean with a massive fleet, trying to discover what lay beyond the horizon, and never returned. That's when Musa took the throne. And under his rule, Mali didn't just survive. It flourished. During Musa's reign, Mali became the largest gold producer in the world. Historians estimate that Mali may have controlled nearly half of the world's gold supply at that time. Imagine that. Gold wasn't just decoration, it was global currency. So how rich was Mansa Musa? Modern economists have tried to estimate his wealth, but they can't. Some say he would be worth over $400 billion today. Others say his wealth was simply beyond calculation. But the event that made him legendary wasn't just his gold. It was his pilgrimage. In 1324, Mansa Musa decided to perform the Hajj, the Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca. But this wasn't an ordinary journey. He traveled with 60,000 people, 12,000 servants dressed in silk, 100 camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of gold, soldiers, officials, scholars, and musicians. It was like a moving golden city crossing the desert. When Musa arrived in Cairo, he gave away so much gold to the poor, to scholars, and to leaders, that the value of gold dropped in Egypt. Yes, he caused inflation. The Egyptian economy reportedly took years to recover. This pilgrimage made Europe and the Middle East aware of Mali's unimaginable wealth. Soon, maps in Europe labeled West Africa with one name: Musa, King of Mali. But Mansa Musa wasn't just rich. He was visionary. After returning from Mecca, he brought back architects, scholars, and religious leaders. He transformed Timbuktu into one of the greatest centers of learning in the world. He built the famous Jingareba Mosque, libraries, and universities. Timbuktu became a hub for science, mathematics, astronomy, and Islamic scholarship. Thousands of students studied there. At a time when much of Europe was struggling through the Middle Ages, Timbuktu was shining as a center of knowledge. Mansa Musa ruled for about 25 years. Under him, the Mali Empire expanded to become one of the largest empires in African history. He strengthened trade, promoted education, and spread Islamic culture throughout West Africa. But more importantly, he changed how the world saw Africa. His wealth and power shattered the myth that Africa was poor or uncivilized. European explorers later became obsessed with finding the gold of Mali. His fame lived on for centuries. Even today, historians still debate whether anyone has ever been richer than Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa's story isn't just about gold. It's about leadership, vision, and using wealth to build knowledge and culture. He proved that true power isn't just in what you own, but in what you create for future generations. So the next time someone talks about the richest person in history, remember the emperor who made gold lose its value. Mansa Musa, the richest man the world has ever known. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Who should we cover next? Another king? A forgotten empire? Let me know.